Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Upon receiving information that James T. Kerman's pod had been drinking fuel from the lander instead of out of the tug, the Kerbal Science Division decided to make sure this doesn't happen, if anything is to happen again, rather, that they're prepared for a future event. So with this in mind, they went ahead and made the Kerbal Interplanetary Snack Station. Yes, that's right. They went ahead and started designing and working on a space station. Now this is twofold the reason why, and part of it's the conspiracy of what happened to Bobcat Kerman, one of their early pioneering explorers. He went for a trip to the Moon and back and mysteriously vanished, but he's not listed as MIA. Also, his vehicle and everything is completely disappeared from tracking. So the reason being is that they've now started to ramp up their missions onto other planetary endeavors to see if they can find him. Part of this now is going to be using a space station to refuel their lander tugs, and also to have a tug sitting on hand in case of an emergency, much like what James T. Kerman has had, where he may have used up too much of his fuel trying to get to Duna. So the first mission, Bill and Jebediah are actually going to stay at the main station. They're going to make sure that all the snacks and all the people there are properly debriefed before they return home. Not only is there a space station, or that main part of the space station, there's habitation modules that'll be going up as well. And these are very basic looking. They're just hitchhiker cans. But these can hold 4 Kerbals. And they're also designed so that they can hook on to the next part of the station, which is the fueling cells. Oops. Which in the fueling cell, let's pull back a little bit, you'll notice is just a cell with fuel and RCS fuel and a small return pod and docking ports. The docking ports are there mainly for one purpose. These are going to hold small little shuttle pods that will go back to the planet Kerbin. And then once this thing is completely empty, this will be jettisoned using this small little tug back down to Kerbin. So let's go ahead and get ourselves our space station into orbit. Let's check our staging. 06 and a nuclear motor. Okay, so that's all good. Custom ones, our Rocket Max gimbaling, and then our solar panels. So we are good. Let's go ahead and get this into orbit. Now I'm not going to launch all these in one episode. I'm just going to get the start of the station going, and then off camera I will have the rest of the station going. So let's go ahead and get ourselves going. Pretty standard stuff. Get our orbit. This orbit though is going to be about 130 kilometers around. Doesn't have to be, but I think that'll be better for everything. And we will jettison and drop our speed back down to just 1 notch below full throttle. Tip, tip. Tip again. This thing is remarkably stable for as top heavy as it would seem. Okay. So at 8,000, let's go ahead and pan in a little bit. Yeah. Right about here, we'll start our dive into our turn. Not quite that much. Just want to make sure that that's going up and out. And 45 degrees. Oops. 45 degrees. And jettison 2 more tanks. Okay, so we're staying pretty true. Okay, let's go ahead and start getting our orbits a little more circularized. And this is 0.23 now that we are on. Excuse me. So a lot has changed. Excuse me again. And I've been actually testing out SSTOs. I've made one, but right now I haven't found a very good use for it in game, for me anyways. Oops. 137, that'll be pretty good right there. Oops, let's bring it back. 130. 36, 139, 135. We'll call that good. We'll go ahead and jettison those tanks. Let them get clear. We can go ahead and deploy our solar panels, possibly. There we go. Solar panels deployed. Actually, you know what? I don't think we really needed that nuclear engine on there, to be 100% honest. Okay, we're getting full solar panel power. And let's go ahead and line ourselves up a little better. "31 seconds, so at 16 seconds we will begin our full burn. And that'll be the start of our space station. It's probably going to be a relatively short episode, but this is to start our future endeavors of going to other planets and moons, so that we do not have to return to Kerbin every single time. We just have to return to its orbit of the space station, and And then we can go ahead from that point on, just refuel and go. Grabbing a new Kerbal from the space station and being happy. And release the fairings. That probably messed up the orbit a little bit, but that's okay. $137, $138. Actually, that's pretty good. Okay, now what we want to do is target Mun. And since we'll be here, so that's there we go. All I'm doing is putting this in a better circularized orbit. And we can go ahead and open. Well, we'll open the shield here. And open this shield. And that'll be our 2 pods. Now you notice that there's a single nuclear engine on here, and once this thing's in a decent enough orbit, it will be detached. Let's go ahead and time warp ourselves up to 6 seconds before. What's nice is this is actually... Oh, you might notice something. Kerbin now looks much better. It doesn't look like the dead planet anymore on the dark side. There's actually lights and clouds. And that's a mod that I downloaded. It's called City and Clouds. It makes Kerbin look a lot more interesting even at night. Okay, so we are almost there. Can I see anything else? Nope, because they're pointing the wrong way. There we go. We no longer need the engine, so I slung it out as far as I could away from the space station. We'll go ahead and point ourselves upright. And in better alignment with the sun. So that'll do it for this episode of Kerbal Space Program. In the next episode, we'll be back with James T. Kerman on his way to Duna. If you liked it, please rate, favorite, subscribe, leave comments, and until next time, have fun, guys.